No, I don't have to. I'm good.
Sergeant of Arms. Will the Senate Sergeant at Arms and Escort Committee please escort Attorney General Fox to the podium? Our speaker is an American lawyer and Republican politician. He is the current Attorney General of Montana and was elected in 2012. And now it is my pleasure to present our special guest, Attorney General Tim Fox.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, it sounds like you had a little bit of fun before I came in. I hope I didn't ruin it. Maybe the best thing for me to do is to get my cell phone out here, reverse it. All right, smile. Everybody in there? All right, good. All right, a little more seriously. Governor Temple, Lieutenant Governor Royer, Speaker Blackford, Senate President Finch, Chief Justice Robinson, members of the House and of the Senate. Thank you for the gracious invitation, put this up here, to speak with you today, and welcome to the Montana State Capitol. I ask each of you to pause for a moment and consider the implications of what you're doing right here in this building. You have a governor and other officials. You've formed a House and a Senate and established committees. You have a judiciary. You will be studying issues, debating, arguing, maybe arguing a little more, and voting, and even more. You're doing all of this in the buildings that are actually used by those who hold these actual offices. Today you are students and teenagers. Tomorrow, you just might be sitting in one of those seats. And you might hold an office for real. I'm hoping that that's the future for many of you. This is true of my own situation. I grew up in Hardin, a small town in southeast Montana. Anybody been to Hardin before? All right. You didn't want to blink when you went through. You might miss it. I was able to attend college only because I worked hard to get good grades, held jobs, and used student aid. I'm not saying I did everything right or made the best choices at every juncture, but I took my future seriously. As a young man, I never imagined that one day I would be elected to serve as Montana's chief legal and law enforcement officer. But this is a land of opportunities and possibilities, right? In our great nation, a person can be born into disadvantaged circumstances, but cannot overcome those obstacles and aspire to great heights in achievement and success. So where else in the world is this even possible to this degree? Where else in the world can citizens from all walks of life be elected to offices that can make laws and have a real positive impact in people's lives? It's a very rare thing. We are truly blessed and privileged to have secured these rights. But we must remember they are more than just rights. They're profound responsibilities. I fear that in today's culture, that crucial point gets lost. So many people tend to focus on what they believe they're owed, rather than how they can contribute to preserve our way of life and all the blessings that we have. Self-government, representative democracy, and the rule of law are the cornerstones of our liberty and prosperity as a nation. But cornerstones are only as strong as what binds them together. And that's why in every generation there must be those who undertake the great responsibility of public service. That undertaking begins right here with you and what you're doing in the Capitol. So what does it take to be successful here? In fact, how do we even measure success here? That depends on what you're looking for. legislator comes here representing the concerns of the constituents of his or her district. Those concerns tend to be localized, but also tie into broader issues affecting all Montanans. The governor comes here with a policy agenda of his or her own, but also with the responsibility of signing or vetoing the bills passed by this body and faithfully executing the bills signed into law. Our court system, starting with the district courts around the state and all the way up to the Montana Supreme Court, examines statutes in light of other laws, case law, and the Constitution, and they rule then accordingly. Success looks different for each of these offices, and I'll share with you what it looks like for my office as Attorney General. When a governor, Attorney General, or other statewide elected official first takes office, he or she is sworn in on the same day the legislature convenes. That means in addition to appointing staff, learning the ropes of an office, and transitioning into a new role, a legislative agenda must be developed, including a budget. So imagine, first week in November you get elected, first week of January you hit the ground running. When I first took office in January 2013, I brought forward more than a dozen pieces of legislation impacting law enforcement, public safety, consumer protection, and more. I asked Republicans and Democrats, in fact, an even number of each, to sponsor these bills. In the end, all passed with bipartisan majorities and were signed into law by the governor. When the 2015 legislative session came, I took the same type of approach, not just because it was effective, but because it was the right thing to do. I brought forward 20 bills to improve services for all Montanans and to make Montana safer. They were carried again, half by Republicans, half by Democrats. Men and women representing rural and urban areas. I wanted lawmakers to have a substantive debate about these issues. I wanted them to not only support the legislation, but truly understand what I was asking for and why. I wanted them to work together through the process. This is what I believe is the most important thing that Montanans are looking for. When I meet citizens in my office or travel around the state, what I hear from most Montanans is they want us all to work together. They want us to take principled stands, but also to find common ground where we can. True, sometimes there is little or no common ground, and sometimes there can be no compromise. But on a great many issues, there are opportunities for us to all work together as Montanans. My advice to you is simple and comes from my own experiences. Always do the right things for the right reasons. Always do the right thing for the right reasons, no matter the cost. There is far too little of that in politics today, yet it is what our fellow Montanans want of us and expect from their public servants. Remember that in spite of disagreements or personality conflicts, there is something you can learn from each one of your fellow office holders. Be quick to share the credit with others and try to emphasize the team over the individual. I guarantee you that if you do this, you will be blessed and you will gain a higher degree of trust and cooperation from those with whom you share the credit. Guard your character as you would your life. Guard your character as you would your life. Your character is a reflection of who you are, whether you are trustworthy and whether you've lived your life in the best ways possible. Redos are infrequent in life, and we must all try hard to get things done the right time, or the right way the first time, in our studies, in our professional lives, in our private lives. Do not succumb to the temptation to dehumanize your opponents. This is precisely why so many Americans are fed up with politics and government. Interest groups and campaigns spend billions of dollars every cycle slinging mud at other people. Legitimate disagreements about policy, legislation, and even legal cases turn into personal battles. Treat every human being with the respect and dignity that they deserve. Disagree and take your stands as you see fit, but never make it a personal issue. And remember that we're all in this together. Recognize that you will make mistakes at some point. I certainly have. When it happens, take responsibility for it. Fix it if you can and learn from it. Don't compound the mistake by blaming others or denying responsibility. A good example of that happened to me just a couple of weeks ago, right? I was at a conference, a seminar in Billings, got there late, went straight to bed at the hotel. Someone tripped the fire alarm at 11:30 at night. I obviously couldn't roll over and go back to sleep. It was very loud. I got dressed, I went downstairs, walked out to find a young man, half again bigger than me, trying to pick a fight with everybody around him. I intervened, tried to calm him down, and got smacked in the face pretty hard, right? He went for another gentleman, wanted to fight him. I took him down and incapacitated him, put him in a submission hold, and held him on the ground until the police came. 2 days later, well, first of all, the police came and they asked if I wanted to press charges. And I said, no, I didn't. He was obviously intoxicated. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know why he was doing what he did. I don't think he knew. And then another police officer, a woman officer, came up and started taking down people's information. And when she got to me, she said, may I have your name, please? She's looking down, writing on the pad of paper. I said, I'm Montana's Attorney General, Tim Fox. She smiled, looked up. She didn't know that's who I was, but neither did he. He spent the night in the Hooskow. He was attending the conference. He came back in the morning, checked out of the hotel, and went home. The following morning, he was reading the newspapers online and realized just who it was that he'd hit. So he called me. He called my office, and I spoke with him. He said, I'm really sorry. Would you forgive me? Would you forgive me? And I said, I would. And we had a conversation. I learned that he was a husband, a father. He had a 5-year-old boy. He has a new baby girl on the way. He'd made a mistake, a very serious mistake. It could have gone much worse, right? But he asked for forgiveness. Forgiveness was freely given. That, to me, is the real good point. Recognize that you'll all make mistakes at some point. When it happens, take responsibility for it. I offer advice not because I claim wisdom or special knowledge, but rather because I've learned some important lessons along the way. Thankfully, no one has taken me down, put me in a submission hold, and waited for the police to come. But I have learned my lessons along the way, too. In fact, I'm still learning. Every new experience in my personal and professional life teaches me a new lesson. Your experiences here in the Capitol are a gift. I hope you make the most of it, make new friends, and learn some important lessons that go with you when you return home. Your time here gives you a glimpse into the kind of work that goes on in lawmaking. I hope it sparks an interest that brings you back here as engaged citizens and perhaps even as elected officials someday. Our representative democracy works only if we participate, not just as voters, but as concerned citizens, candidates for office, and if elected, public servants. So thank you again for the invitation to speak with you today. Most importantly, thank you for your interest in the civic life of our great state. I've heard it said that young people such as you are the future of Montana, but I disagree. You are Montana. You are the here and now. The time has come for you to step up and be a part of all of this. So thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Attorney General Fox, for being with us this morning. We are honored to have you take part in our session. Will the Sergeant at Arms please escort Attorney General Fox from the chambers?
And when you're working on the budget for the Department of Justice, would you please give me more money?
Members will now hear the state address by Governor Shannon Temple.
For those of you that haven't been here before, hi, I'm Shannon Temple, and I'm your youth governor, and all I can say is welcome. Welcome to the 45th Annual Montana YMCA Youth and Government Conference. I am so humbled to be standing in front of you all today as your 2016 Youth Governor. I hope this conference will bring forth spirited debate, fun times, lifelong friendships, and the most lit dance that youth and government has ever seen. And yes, that is a challenge. Before I talk about the state of our state, I'd like to take a second and thank all of our advisors and our state director, Holly McCammond, for all she does to make this conference possible. Without their hard work, this would not be possible. Let's give them a hand. Now, to shift positions and talk about the state of our state. First, however, I'd like to talk about the state of our country. America, the land of the free, or seemingly free, as more and more laws continue to degrade our society. Sadly, America has been devolving from the land of the free to a country with a legal code with the length that has been, quote, undeterminable by many experts. We have more than 4,000 criminal laws, 20,000 laws regulating guns and ammunition, and a tax code that consists of 70,000 pages, containing more than 10 million words, and this is unacceptable. The reason that this is so pertinent to our state is that we need to focus on this conference of making Montana as free as possible without government interference, full of liberty and lack of government interference in our day-to-day lives, in both social and economic aspects. To quote Thomas Jefferson, one of my favorite presidents, I'd rather be exposed to the problems created by too much liberty than be exposed to the problems created by too much government. One of the best aspects of liberty is that every single one in society has the right to choose between good and bad, right and wrong, juxtaposed to a government deciding what is good and bad and right and wrong. Seen as every single person and every single individual within society has different values, ideas, and stances, it is absolutely pertinent that we focus on empowering those people and allowing them to make choices, their own choices, when it comes to their own bodies and their own lives. And like Attorney General Tim Fox said, we are so lucky to live in America. Places like North Korea, Russia, and Donald Trump's favorite, China, have all taken steps to strip liberty from its citizens so that the government can keep control of its citizens. Too much government control is the reason that the American Revolution happened. It is the reason we have our great country, and our identity lies within liberty. It is more important to make the free choice than it is to make the right choice, because the right choice is completely subjective. That being said, the legislation that we pass at this session must focus on creating as much freedom and liberty for our state as possible, both socially and economically. We must decriminalize minor drug charges due to the fact that not only have this war on drugs created an inefficient policing system and wasteful taxpayer dollars, but it's also created an overcrowded prison system full of inhumane human rights abuses, and that is an atrocity on its own accord. We need to fight for lower taxes to empower the middle and lower classes so that they do not have the fruits of their labor taken from them by an inefficient and wasteful government. We must fight for the rights of all individuals, allowing for equal protection under the laws, especially for those who are of discriminated minorities and discriminated genders in our society. We must eliminate unnecessary government regulations that make businesses leave our state for cheaper ventures when we can keep them in-state and have them prosper within our state. We need to focus on eliminating big government, because big government has sadly impeded upon our rights and impeded upon the freedoms that we are guaranteed within our Constitution. For decades, we've had big government who's raised taxes, created more laws, and what do we have to show for it? A debt of $19 trillion and a legal code that is the longest legal code that humanity has ever seen. But together, we can start a trend to change that. We are our country's future, the youth. We do not need to repeat the mistakes of the generations before us. We have been told by so many adults that we are lazy and not going to be better off than the previous generations. However, that is simply not true. We are the most informed generation that this world has ever seen due to technology and whatnot. So let's embrace that. We are so lucky to live in a free society, like the Attorney General said, and have the rights and freedoms that we do to make an impactful difference on our society. So what I ask from you, delegates, is to express your freedoms. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, debate, get into it, get angry, get passionate. Speak out and do not remain silent. Our rights allow us to choose to be silent. But for more than half the world, many are silent not by choice, but by fear. Fear that they will be persecuted because of their beliefs or because of their stances. At Youth in Government, this is your one chance to get up and stand for something. Stand for democracy. If we remain silent, nothing will change. And the generations before us will be right about us. But when we speak out, we can make our society by the people and for the people. We are the future of Montana. We are Montana right now. Instead of leaving so much power in the hands of so few, we can be by the people, for the people. So have no fear of speaking out, because so many people in our society, or in the world cannot. Take a stand, make a difference, and most importantly, have fun this week, guys. Thank you.
Governor Temple. We will now hear the State of the Judiciary address by Youth Chief Justice Paige Robinson.
Hi. I'd like to begin by first welcoming you all to the 2016 Montana Youth in Government Conference. Before I get too far, I'd like to thank all my attorney teams for turning in their briefs. If you're unaware, briefs are anything but brief and require long hours of hard work to complete. I'm excited to work with my attorney teams and fellow justices over the course of this next week. In the next few days, we are all presented with an amazing opportunity. In the Model Supreme Court, we are debating over important issues that should weigh heavily on every Montanan's mind. The limits of our constitutional right to privacy, the role of off-duty law enforcement, whether seasonally closed roads constitute as a way of the state, and just how specific laws ought to be. What we're doing here matters. When you look at the headlines, it's painfully clear that our generation has a profound impact on politics today. Whether you're Republican or Democrat or Pastafarian, I think we can all agree that what we're doing here today could easily shape the future of our towns and our counties, our state and our nation, our world. With that in mind, I implore you to put your best foot forward. Act with dignity and grace, for the future of our state truly does rest in your hands. We are incredibly lucky to be sitting here, not only away from school for 3 days, not only in an alluring building with a magnificent Charlie Russell painting to look at, but in a state that demands respect, a state that draws fascination and wonder, curiosity. Montana is a state known for our uncanny love for livestock, our freshman congressman running for Speaker of the House, and most importantly, a river runs through it. But to those of us that call Montana home, our state is so much more. Montana represents rugged individualism, undeniable beauty, and friendly faces. There's something special to this state, and there's something special to this program. This program has an incredible power to connect people from around the state and around the country. It's not very often you can come across a program that is spread nationwide, involves this many young people, and instills the innumerable qualities that this program does. My days here at Youth in Government have been some of the best days of my life, and I really hope that you can enjoy your time here as much as I have, and I hope to, over the coming days. A few weeks ago, I was driving through Gardner with a friend of mine, and she looked at me and said, "You know what I like?" I wasn't really sure what she meant, so I asked her what she was talking about, and to this she replied, "I like seeing people I know walk in places I've walked." When she said this, I laughed, and I didn't really think much of it, but it was a weird quote, so it kind of stuck with me. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and while she said it talking about literally seeing someone we knew walking on the sidewalk, I think this is really true of our experience here this week, and what I hope you're able to take away from your time here at Youth in Government. It's interesting to read about your representative doing things here in the Capitol, or someone from your county arguing over at the Supreme Court. And it's really interesting to see these people you know, from Justice Baker to Secretary of State McCulloch, doing the things they do every day, because what they do is pretty incredible. But when it becomes really cool is when you see these people you know walking in places you've walked. Youth in Government provides us with the opportunity to walk in these places. It allows us to see what it's like firsthand, to argue and judge the meaning of the state's constitution, or fight for a bill you're passionate about. And I can only hope that when you leave Youth in Government, you'll be able to read Montana News and think, I like seeing people I know walk in places I've walked. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice Robinson. Will the Sergeant at Arms please escort our elected officials from the chambers? Members, please rise. Please be seated. For announcements, there were some technical issues and the name tags will be delayed. Holly will get them to you ASAP. There's no caucus today at 3, and as a reminder, there's no food or drink in the House or Senate chambers or committee rooms, except for water with capped lids. All events in the Capitol will begin promptly at 9 o'clock in the rooms you're indicated in your schedule. Please report to your assigned committee rooms on time. Adults, please report to the committee room to which you were previously assigned. All attorneys and court staff are to report to the Justice Building courtroom. The opening joint session of the 2016 Montana YMCA and Youth in Government is now adjourned.